to you a little bit more. I know you already know about our English Learner LPAC and reclassification. We're going to take this opportunity to go through that journey together. And here we have, come on up, our wonderful language team at Region East. I definitely don't do the work alone. With over 100,000 students, I really rely on our wonderful team to help us not just become experts, but to get the information out. So we have Patricia Varela, our MALT coordinator. Come on up. And Veronica, come on up, Veronica. Veronica Vega. They're going to start the presentation, but along with Veronica and Patricia, we also have Erika and Jorge, who will continue with the latter part of the presentation. So again, it's now my pleasure to bring them on, and they'll share a little bit about our English learner students and how we support them at Region East.
Thank you, Dr. Ortiz. Good morning. Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about our English learners, and what I want you to remember is that any language that your child speaks tells a story. It tells a story about their culture, their family, and who they are. So language is really important. As they're learning English, if they're English learners, we want to support them to become bilingual, biliterate. We don't want them to lose the home language, because the home language you bring is an asset. It's essential and it's powerful. I want you to remember that throughout this presentation. So the question is, well, how do we in LAUSD identify students that are English learners? And I want you to think about that question and just really quickly turn and talk. How do we know who our English learners are in the district? How do we identify them? Okay. So I know that my families here are a little bit shy right now, but that's okay. But in your mind, you're saying, how many said, you know what? I remember when I enrolled my son, my daughter, I had to complete a survey. Remember that? Okay, yes, it starts with a survey. This is called the Home Language Survey. And there's 4 important questions that help us identify potential English learners. Now remember, the Home Language Survey is critical because we want to know, is there another language that we need to support our student with? So if they're speaking another language, they might need more support in English. So it's not, oh, I got you. You speak a different language. No, it's, oh, you speak another language. That's going to be an asset. And your child's going to need a little bit of support to learn English. So the questions were, what language did the student learn when he or first began to talk? What language does the student most frequently use at home? What language do you use most frequently when you speak to your child? And which language is most often used by the adults at your home? So if any answer from these 4 questions is any other language except for English, we're like, oh, maybe they're an English learner. So as at the district, we send home a notice saying, you know, your child may be an English learner. We will be assessing them in a few weeks. So we always inform the families. Then, when they enroll and we think they might be an English learner, we give them an assessment, and it's called the initial LPAC. This test, the LPAC, the initial one, only has 2 results. It's either going to tell the school, this student has enough English in reading, writing, speaking, and listening that they don't need any more supports. So they're called IFEP. That means initial fluent English speaker. But if the assessment comes out a little bit on the lower end, it says, you know what, the student needs some support with English, and that's okay, then they're identified as English learners. Okay? So starting with a survey, we informed you, we assessed them, 2 possible answers, and then we say, okay, if this child's an English learner, we have a whole department and teachers that specialize in supporting English learners, because being an English learner and knowing another language is an asset. Remember that. So once we identify English learners, we have 4 different categories. We have English learners who were born in another country. Those are called our international newcomers. And then we have English learners who were born in this country, and they're just known as English learners. The difference is, if we have a student and they're an international newcomer that was born in a different country, we want to know that because we put them in a different, we support them with their culture, their language, because we need to take all that into consideration. Then we have students, as they continue with the program, that are labeled as potential long-term English learners. That means that after a certain amount of years, they haven't reclassified. And then we have our long-term English learners. That means that after 6 years, they haven't reclassified, so they're considered long-term. So in thinking about language, research shows it takes anywhere between 4 to 6 years to become, to learn another language and to be proficient in it. So don't worry if your student doesn't reclassify in kinder or first grade. It's once a year, like 6 years. That's when we start thinking about, okay, what else can we support our students with? Okay, the LPAC. You've heard that term. It is a state assessment that we take once a year, and there's 4 domains. We test them in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Listening and reading are receptive skills. That means they're learning language by listening to it, learning language by reading the words in the content. And then the speaking and writing are productive. That's what they could produce in English, in their writing and in their speaking. And I forgot to mention, all this is academic language. So can they perform and explain themselves with academic English? Here are some ways that you can support your student at home. And you're like, you know what? I already do that. How many of you ask your students every day? You know, you have conversations about their school. In any language that you do that, will support our English learner, because their brain is so powerful that let's say their first language is Spanish, if you ask them these questions in Spanish, it will strengthen their bilingual brain. So speak to them, listen to them, and ask them questions when they're watching TVs and shows, and make sure that they are able to also speak in complete sentences, that we just don't allow them to say 1 or 2 words as an answer. We want more details, and we want them to be able to express themselves academically. Vero is going to take you through the other sections.
Thank you. Buenos dias, good morning. All right, so the other domains that we're going to focus on right now is reading. And so how is it that you can support your child at home when it comes to reading? Read with your child every day. It's so important. As you read, you can read 1 page and have your child read another. And it doesn't have to be in English. It could be the home language that you speak at home. Also think about, as you read the story, what are some questions that you can ask your child to ensure that they're understanding what's happening in the story? You can start off with very simple questions: who, what, where is this happening? But you can even go deeper and ask, if this character did something different, how would the ending of the story go? What do you think the character was thinking when he made this decision? So you can start with very simple questions and then move on to more rigorous, more thought-provoking questions with your child. The next domain is writing. And I know this is one of the subjects that some of our students don't like to do, right? But really thinking about those opportunities on a daily basis to write. When you go to the market, have your child create a list of what you need. When your child does something special, when you go on a trip, have them write down what happened during the trip. Have them say, oh, what happened at the beginning? What did we do at the beginning when we arrived to this place? Have them write about it. What happened in the middle while we were there? And then what happened at the end? Do you remember some of the sounds that you heard? Do you remember some of the colors that we saw? Some of the things that people said? So you start off simple when it comes to the writing, but then have, again, your child, based on the questions that you're asking them, giving them the opportunity to just write down their thoughts. We're not looking for perfection. We're not ensuring that, oh, you forgot that period there and you didn't capitalize. We're starting off with having your child write down their ideas first. And so I want you to think about, and really quick with your partner there, what is one way you are already supporting? Because I know you're all here and you're already leaders at your school site. What are some of the things that you're doing that you're at home to help support your child with LPAC and reclassification? I want you to think about that. Share the one thing with your neighbor right now. I know some of you are saying, oh, we go to the library. I have my child help me write some things. Yes, you at home, I know, are supporting your children on a daily basis to ensure that they're meeting their goals. And so we talked about reclassification, and we do have some criteria that your child as an English learner has to meet to show that they're making progress. And these are things that we monitor on a yearly basis. The first one is the LPAC. Patty mentioned the LPAC that students take once a year, and we focus on reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Students who take the LPAC must score an overall 4 on the summative LPAC, and then they have to score an overall 3 in the alternate LPAC. This is the assessment for our students in the modified curriculum. We also have grades. So for our elementary students, an overall 3 or 4 on their ELA composite, and for our secondary students, a grade of C or higher in either their ELA or their ELD course. We also have a basic skills assessment. So it's either the iReady, there's a certain percentage that they have to score, or the ESPA ELA. And then finally, once those first 3 criteria are met, we know how powerful that conversation with parents is, and so there is a parent consultation that happens. And so we talked about the supports that you can provide at home to your child. Now we're going to talk about what are the supports that are being provided at the school site to help support your children. And so we have designated English language development. So once your child has been identified as an English learner, they automatically receive designated ELD. And designated English language development is a protected time throughout in the school day where your child receives support and where we focus on how English works. And so I'm going to talk about what are some of the things that are discussed and presented during this class time. So number 1, the focus is how English works. We're looking at vocabulary. We're looking at sentence structure. We're looking at grammar. We're also looking at practice using language. We can teach the kids, but if we're not having them practice that oral language, it's not going to be ingrained in them, right? We have to give them those opportunities to be able to share, to discuss their thoughts of what they read and what they write. And then finally, making those connections. So the language that they're learning during this designated ELD time is the connection that they make as they're doing their reading, their writing, their science, their social studies. So again, this is a protective time where we're ensuring that students are accessing the language and they're able to apply it in the other content areas. And so I want you to think about, what are those things that you can do at home on a daily basis to help support your child, to ensure that, that at the forefront there's language happening and that you're elevating and you're celebrating, right, the language that you speak at home and the language and the knowledge that they're bringing from school as well. And I want to remind you all that you are your child's first teacher. You make all the difference. And so the conversations that you have at home really do matter. They're powerful, ensuring that you are sharing your stories and that you're asking questions and that you're having conversations, because this is what helps your child grow as a multilingual learner. And so as you think about the role, we discussed some of the strategies that you can do at home, thinking about how can you find out more about reclassification. I'm going to have Megan come up because she's going to talk about the parent portal. And that's a wonderful source and platform where you can find out about LPAC scores and grades.
Thank you. My name is Megan Guerrero. I am one of the Family and Community Engagement Administrators in Region East. Amaris Medina, you'll see her here as well. We are proud to support all things family engagement in Region East, whether that means our parent and family centers. Many of our volunteers are here. We support our volunteers, our community representatives, and all of our programs. And Parent Portal is a big piece of that. So I want to connect right now the information you heard, and I won't be mad if you pull out your phone because you want to open up the Parent Portal app. You won't get in trouble just because you're in school with your phone out. Parents, you can take your phone out and pull open that Parent Portal app, because if you are a parent of an English learner, you have this information at your fingertips to know, I don't know what LPAC level, I don't remember if they've met those criteria, so I just wanted to quickly connect. If you remember this slide, this information is accessible to you about your child's scores in each of these areas in the Parent Portal. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you log into your Parent Portal. So I know this is great information, but it all comes down to, but what about my son, my daughter? So those same 4 categories, if you look in Parent Portal, if you log in and click on your student, you'll see a menu of many options, and you're going to click on English Learner Progress. Un progreso de los aprendices de inglés. Ahí puede ver, progreso del estudiante de inglés. English Learner Progress. Pero probablemente, como hablan otro idioma en casa, lo van a ver en español. So I'll leave it there. And there's those 4 areas. LPAC, teacher evaluation, which is the same as what? The report card score. The grade that they got for English Language Arts, we call it ELA. We have a lot of shorter names for things. English Language Arts. Their basic skills, which is measured by the Smarter Balance test, which we're going into that season. And that's a hard one for reclassification. So your child's teacher, your child's school can talk about that with you, about how that can improve, and then parent approval. So that's that 4th category. You are a part of this team, a part of this conversation as we move towards reclassification. If you show it on this slide. So remember, it tells you in the middle, on the left is one of the 4 categories. In the middle is what's the goal? What's the criteria? What do they need to get to meet that area to reclassify? And then the far column is how your child is doing, progressing toward that goal or that criteria. So for example, here, you can see for the teacher evaluation, which is that grade or that report card score, they need to have a 3 or a 4 for their ELA score, English Language Arts, right? Reading, writing, listening, speaking. This student has a 2. So they're progressing. Remember, this student is learning, right? Maybe 2 languages, or speaks Spanish fluently and is learning English, and they're getting a 2 in ELA. Have they met the goal yet for reclassification? Not quite. What do they need? A 3 or a 4? Okay. So then you'll see for your child, if you need help with this, if you need help after this meeting, we're happy to stay and help you find this report. Your child's school can assist you with this information as well. So you don't have to wait. Having these reports at your fingertips, that also includes the IEP. If you want to access your child's most recent, if your child has an individualized education plan, you can access their most recent through the parent portal. We can help you find that as well. Because I wanted to recognize some of our English learners also have special needs. So when we talk about how they're using language or how they are progressing, this is also a conversation to have, not just with your child's teacher, but if they have an IEP, who else do you talk to? The IEP team, right? And guess who's part of the IEP team? You, parent. Mamá, papá, los padres legales, guardianes. You are a member of the IEP team. So you are talking to them about how your child, aprendiz inglés, con necesidades especiales, how your child is progressing, because it might look and sound different. It might look and sound different, and that's okay. Another feature of the parent portal that we want to make sure that you have access to is the Family Academy channel. This is a new repository of videos of all kinds of learning that has happened on our Family Academy, not just in Region East, but in the district. And you will be able to access those for your own learning. So if you go back and find sessions about English learners or Educación Especial, and you want to watch that session, you can do that on your own time and access many, many videos and learning sessions for your own learning, or together in the Parent Center. I love learning with others. When I can talk about it or listen to someone else's thinking, it helps me learn. So I encourage you to learn with others as well. So the family channel is a great feature. And then also, here's what it looks like, sorry. And you'll see, it kind of looks a little bit like YouTube, but better, without ads and without all that other crazy stuff that pops up. Just learning about our schools, about education. How many of you have completed the school experience survey? Pues todas las manos. Don't worry, if you've been waiting, If you're a procrastinator, like me sometimes, it's not too late. But your school needs you. Your school needs your voice. Your school and our district needs your feedback, your perspective. Porque es único. Porque su hijo, su hija es única. Y su perspectiva de ustedes es muy importante, su voz. So please do not forget to fill out the school experience survey. It's still open. The link will be in the chat, or the QR code is here, and it closes this Friday, the 27th of March. In Region East, we share all of our flyers each month in a Google folder. If you would like to capture this link, you can have access to upcoming events. Sometimes some of you are so organized, you don't want to wait for your school to share the information. Get it here first. We will be around after if you have questions about Parent Portal or you need support with that or have questions for us. I'm going to turn it over to Agustin Gonzalez from our Region East Operations, who's going to share a couple of updates with you. Agustin.
Another round of applause for Megan Guerrero. Buenos dias. Good morning. My name is Agustin Gonzalez. I have the pleasure and honor being with you today. Very quickly talking about some of the supports that we do. But before we do that, sorry, I need the clicker. Got the magic clicker. Before we do that, it's very important for you to know our roles. We have operations. You'll see us on your campus. There's 7 of us that support 256 schools. I have not had the pleasure of knowing the HP or the Val Cudahy Maywood, but I support Historic Central Avenue Secondary Schools. So in Central Los Angeles, I support many of the schools that have many of the same challenges that we experience in HP, Southgate, or Val Cudahy Maywood. I also support Boyle Heights, Roosevelt, Mendez, and the schools, the feeder schools that feed into the schools. So you have people available here in your area, Southgate, Val Cudahy Maywood, that are teammates and support your school. So those are the 2 words that I want you to know that operations is here to support you. We're here to be a team, parents, students, staff, principal, and the region, because ultimately we're all here to make sure the kids are safe. So that's what initially operations is about. When there's a lockdown, we're the support for a school. We help get that communication out to you because we want to know that your babies are safe. You want to know that. So we're really here to support the principals and advocate for parents, and most importantly, the safety of all children. So I just want to be clear with our roles in terms of operations. We're here to support you and the principals. So anything that happens that's major, we really want to be out there to be able to be a team with the school site so you get the communication and the support you need in an expeditious manner, very quickly. So we want to get that out to you. So if ever you have questions about policy or operations, talk to your administrator, talk to us, and we will support you and call you and help you out. We may not give you the perfect answer, but at least we want to inform you, because ultimately, everything we do is to keep your kids safe. So part of that is we're in a very difficult time right now. We are in a time, in a crisis, where we have a lot of resources that we're trying to provide schools to help some of our families. It's a very difficult time, and when we get these reports that we have law enforcement or Homeland Security or whoever it is in the neighborhoods, we want to be able to help and support. If it takes operations to drive and confirm and see who it is, because we have to sometimes differentiate between law enforcement, local law enforcement that's trying to do their job in the community, or it's something else that they're trying to pick up some of our family members in our community. So those are the things that we will do and support, and most importantly, again, communicate with you. We do have a hotline for you, the LAUSD's Family Hotline, that's here to support you. Please take that number down, because you might have a neighbor, a family member, somebody that may need the support, and we're here readily available for you. So please take this information. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's, in my experience, this has been something that LA Unified has really supported families. There's been some families in crisis, and we've been able to help them out. We provide that information, and we try to either provide the supports needed, whether it's legal resources, sometimes transportation resources that we're gonna discuss right now, and a lot of times it's mental health. We're seeing this in the community. It's not good. I'm not gonna stand here and say it's something that we see and it's not affecting us. It's affecting all of us. We are all one LA Unified. We represent the communities that we serve, and we truly, truly want to work as a team to make sure that we keep our kids safe. Some of the things are out of our control, but we do our best to try to inform families to help and support you. So that's a number that's available for you. Or if you're very tech savvy, or your kids are tech savvy, you could go to weare1lausd.org. You could just put in the Google search and it'll populate right away. The other thing is transportation resources. As you can see, we got immigration activity alerts. We will make sure that we inform you whether it's confirmed or unconfirmed. And again, we are going to drive out there in our vehicles to try to see what is going on. Because it's important for us to give you as the best factual, with evidence, information for you. So then you can support you, your families, and most importantly, your kids when they're in school. Because again, your kids are safe at school, but you need to know that they are here, safe at school, and that they are safe in the community when they're walking home. If anything happens, we do offer transportation support. We will offer, in cases of families that are affected by enforcement activity in the community, we will provide transportation support. That's where the Region East operations team, once you communicate with that administrator, if it's a family friend, a neighbor, we will help you make sure that we're following policy as best as possible, but more importantly, helping you find supports for those affected by immigration enforcement. So really, again, the two key words that Megan pointed out, that Dr. Ortiz has talked about, so we're a team that is here to support you, the communities of LAUSD, and most importantly, in Region East. And last but not least, we know that mental health is a huge issue based on what the kids are seeing on the way to school, what the kids are experiencing with their friends and what they're talking about, and quite frankly, what they're seeing on TV, and most importantly, what we're starting to experience with kids that have cell phone devices is what they're seeing on social media. So it's very important that when your child is coming to you and speaking to you in a way, remember there are supports at the school site and at the district that can help you out. It's okay for students and sometimes even adults to come and seek guidance and support to let themselves know how they're feeling and reflecting on what's going on in our community. But more importantly than that is empowering your son or daughter to be the best that they can be in the school side so they can make a difference in our communities. That really is the message on the part of operations supporting you so we can empower our kids, keep them safe, and ensure that they get the best out of their education, go out there, and then come back and support our communities. With that being said, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. Thank you for this little bit of time that I have with you. It's a pleasure to be serving this community and the communities in Region East. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand it back to the wonderful Dr. Lourdes Ramirez Ortiz, our Region East Superintendent.
Thank you so much, Agustin. A big round of applause for Agustin and all of our operations team. They keep us safe, they keep us secure, and as you saw, we really want to make sure our families take advantage of those transportation services, door to door. We don't have enough families taking advantage of it, and when we reach out to families sometimes when kiddos are absent, they'll say, well, you know, it wasn't safe today, and I wasn't comfortable sending them to school walking. Many of our high schoolers walk alone, know that those transportation services are available. So yes, I am so happy to have the wonderful team that we have at Region East. So as I shared, we have over 100,000 students, and with that, we need many, many wonderful brains and hands that are ready to help, along with all of our school site administrators and teachers and other staff. At our Region East, we have 2 administrators of instruction. One is here, Dr. Daniel Gettinger. Please give him a big round of applause. Our other administrator of instruction is Cristina Munoz. She's amazing, and she is helping right now with some of our questions online. But she is here virtually, and she will join us in just a few minutes. And then we have our wonderful administrator of operations, Gilberto Martinez, who actually was pulled away to support at another school site, but he is the leader of operations at Region East. And then we have Yolanda Bueno, who is our administrator of special education. And since she couldn't be here today, we have someone here in her stead that will be here in case we have any special education questions at the end of our session. And of course, you met the wonderful Megan and Amaris, who are administrators of family and community engagement. Let's give them a big round of applause. And look at these beautiful faces. Aren't they wonderful? Yes, these are, in English, we call them directors. En español le decimos los supervisores de los directores. Okay? So these are the people that supervise our schools and our principals in certain regions. We call them regional directors. And so if ever you go on our website, in a little while we're going to show you the website, you can always go on. We keep it very well updated so that anything you need you can find there. So if ever you wanted to, after working with your school, you work with the principal and you still needed some additional support, maybe a special situation, these, I know it's a little bit hard to see because the letters are white, but we do have a flyer with all that information, and you're going to get a chance to meet them in just a few minutes. We have our regional directors here, and we'll start with Lisa Davis, who supports MacArthur Park Network. So if you are in a school in the MacArthur Park Network, she is here to say hello and connect with you at the end of our meeting. And then Gerardo Loera, he's our regional director for many of our historic Central Avenue schools, mostly our middle and high schools. He's here. And we also have Veronica Sasso, who also helps our historic Central schools, elementary. And she's also here. Pedro Avalos, who supports our Huntington Park schools. So he is here hosting us today. And Jesus Nunez, who supports the Southgate schools. Sergio Franco, he supports Bell, Cudahy, and Maywood. Oh, you're here. BCM in the house. And Chrissy Moore, she supports our Eagle Rock and Highland Park schools. She also is supporting a school with an accreditation today. And we have Carlos Montes, who supports our East Los Angeles schools. We have Raquel George, who supports our South Los Angeles network. Where's Miss George? There she is. Thank you, Miss George. And we also have Ana Escobedo, who supports our downtown and some of our Heights schools. We call it Downtown Heights, some of our Sereno Lincoln Heights. Ana Vega, who supports our Boyle Heights schools. And Will Downing, who supports our Lincoln Heights and Sereno schools. Yeah. And I don't believe, do we have early ed here? Do we have OB? No? So if you have any questions or you want to connect regarding early ed, we'll be very happy to meet with you after as well. And so you see there at the bottom right, follow us on social media. We try to post every day. We visit schools. We have wonderful events. So how many of you are following Region East on social media? Yeah? If you're not, make sure you do. We had wonderful events recently posted. We had our spelling bee. We had our Young Women's Empowerment Day. We had our math field day. We have so many great things happening. And as we visit schools, we take pictures and we post them. And that's also a really great way for the world to know all the great things that are happening within our wonderful Region East. So here is our contact information. If ever you need to contact our office, you should know that temporarily we're not at the Soto office. There is a project happening in the second floor, and so we're temporarily housed at Stevenson Middle School. But the phone numbers are the same, so you can always feel free to reach out to that number, and then you can visit our website. And as I mentioned, we keep everything updated there. You'll see the calendar of events, you'll see flyers, you'll see videos, wonderful information. And you'll see quick links on family and community engagement. You'll find information on operations, health services, special education, attendance, and instruction. So I'll pause here for a quick minute so that you can, if you're not already following us, you can grab that information, start following us today. Okay, so at our last Coffee with the Superintendent, we had an opportunity to get information from all of you. So we stay behind and we interact with you on a very personal level, and we ask you what's important to you, and that's how we came up with the topic for today. It was really a conversation from our last meeting. So we want to hear from you. So please scan that QR code. Tell us what you'd like to learn more about, what you'd like to see more of at Coffee with the Superintendent, and we'll make sure to do that for you as we wrap up the year. Okay, all right, and so with that, I might need your help with this. We're going to showcase a few wonderful things that are happening at Region East. There's a lot of celebrations. We have California Distinguished Schools. We have Magnet Schools of America. We have middle schools to watch. A lot of great things happening. So as we play this great video to showcase some of the great things happening at Region East, our directors and our support staff from Region East are going to make their way up. And as soon as the presentation's over, we're here to connect with you on a personal level. And we'll stay with you for a little while. I am so glad that you made your way out here. I'm so grateful. We want to make sure to connect with you. Okay? Vamos a ver un video con información muy especial sobre todo lo que está pasando ahorita. Bueno, no todo, muchas de las cosas que están pasando aquí en la región este. Queremos celebrar a nuestras escuelas. Y mientras hacemos eso, los directores, supervisores de la región este van a venir aquí enfrente para cuando termine el video conectarnos con ustedes de una manera muy personal. Yo sé que ustedes, algunos manejaron de lugares muy lejos y queremos asegurarnos que nosotros tenemos la oportunidad de conocerlos y charlar con ustedes un momentito. Entonces, con eso vamos a ver nuestro video. Muchas gracias.
Thank you all so much for being here today. Muchísimas gracias por participar con nosotros hoy en día. Thank you to all of our webinar participants. Have a wonderful rest of the day. You have our contact information. Please reach out. If you have headsets for the translation, si traen los audífonos, por favor, si los pueden dejar en la mesa afuerita antes de irse. Muchas gracias. For everyone who has headsets, if you can leave them on the table outside before you go, we will stay around. Thank you again. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí. Have a wonderful day. Pasen muy buen día. Muchísimas gracias.